Sometimes at the end of a boss damage phase or in a final stand, we end up running out of special and heavy ammo and we have to swap to a primary ammo damage loadout to confirm the clear. And here in Act 3 of Heresy, the fully crafted Barrow Dyad with Taken Ambition and Target Lock is now one of the best single target damage primaries in the game. In my recent video detailing the best perks to put on it, I showed that Barrow Dyad is probably the best choice for Warlocks and is definitely best on Titan when paired with Peacekeepers. But for Hunter, I thought that Lucky Pants might still have the edge, even with the nerfs it's received in the last year. So I ran some tests to find out for sure, and these results really surprised me. All these tests were done without buffs, debuffs, surges or artifact mods, and every loadout I used had one loader mod for each weapon. First up, Lucky Pants with the Nightfall Kinetic Hand Cannon Warden's Law. This heavy burst archetype performs best with Lucky Pants due to having the highest crit multiplier at 1.8, and because each shot fires 2 bullets, ramps up the damage to 10 stacks quickly while still having a decent number left to fire at max damage. The main perk to have is Vorpal, which on primaries gives a flat 20% bonus against bosses. The most bullets you can fire on a heavy burst before the Out of Luck cooldown kicks in is 26, which you can reach with just a pended mag and a backup mag. Any 26 mag Warden's Law with Vorpal will be fine, and I guess Enlightened Action is the best pick in third column for a faster reload if you're going to farm for it. In one magazine, Lucky Pants with Warden's Law deals 441,116 damage in 6.65 seconds, for DPS of 66,333, which is much higher than Barrow Dyad can achieve. So at the end of a single phase where you have less than 10 seconds remaining and want to squeeze out more damage, Lucky Pants is the clear choice. However, what if you have a longer period of time without ammo, such as in a final stand after a long second or third phase? The Herald of Finality boss in Salvation's Edge, for example, has a 30-second final stand timer. So let's look at 2 buffed mags of Lucky Pants with the 10-second Out of Luck cooldown in between for a total of 23.3 seconds. Out of Luck reduces overall DPS, but you can still squeeze in some small extra damage by reloading and firing a few unbuffed shots. But remember to prioritise another reload and stow just before the timer expires, so you can re-ready it for the second buffed mag as soon as it's available. So you'll only have time to fire around 20 bullets during the Out of Luck cooldown. 20 bullets at 3731 each add 74,620. So after 23.3 seconds, total damage of Warden's Law would be 956,852 and DPS 41,067. So how does Barrow Dyad compare? Thankfully it's much simpler with no buff timers to worry about, so you just have to aim, fire, reload and repeat. Target Lock is never applied to the high burst damage Blightseekers, only the bullets, although the burst can give progress towards Target Lock, so bullets at the end of the second mag onwards reach the maximum ×5. You can fire 6 full mags containing 5 Blightseeker bursts in 23.07 seconds, almost the same timing window as the Lucky Pants test. Damage is more variable due to significantly more bullets being fired, so more chance of misses or body shots, but in my best example here I managed to hit total damage of 1,003,443 and DPS of 43,496, both higher than Lucky Pants Warden's Law. And that's particularly impressive considering we're not having to use an exotic armor piece with it. But although Barrow Dyad clears a basic Warden's Law Lucky Pants build, that's not the end of the story, because we can improve the damage of the Lucky Pants loadout even further. Instead of spending the Out of Luck phase firing unbuffed Warden's Law shots, we can just reload it in preparation for the second buff window, and then swap to an energy slot exotic primary to deal more damage. Unfortunately, there aren't many good single target damage exotic primaries in the energy slot, and especially ones that don't require pre-charging up in some way, which we obviously won't gain from a loadout swap. But Polaris Lance is still better than nothing. 15 precision hits deal direct damage, apply Scorch, and cause an ignition, for 124,224 during the Out of Luck phase, bringing total damage of the Wardens and Polaris rotation to 1,006,456. and DPS of 43,196. That puts it closely in line with Barrow Dyad. So if the choice was between these two options, which would you go for? Barrow Dyad would be the simplest and easiest to go with, but is limited to close medium range, whereas Lucky Pants plus Polaris is better at longer range, but has a more involved rotation. Personally, between just these two options, I would probably go with Barrow Dyad, but we're still not done because there's one primary setup still to go, and some of you might have seen this coming, because why are we pitting two kings against each other when we could combine them both in a Lucky Pants plus Barrow Dyad rotation? The Trials Heavy Burst Hand Cannon yesterday's question is in the energy slot and can also roll Vorpal, but with a significantly better perk than Warden's in third column, Rapid Hit, for a massive stability and reload boost. Damage is the same as on Warden's, but the extra stability makes it less likely to miss a crit, and the faster reload means you can swap to Barrow Dyad sooner while still having a fresh mag ready for the next buff window. During the Out of Luck phase, you can shoot 2 full mags of Barrow Dyad with 2 reloads and 2 Blightseeker bursts before swapping back to yesterday's question. It does overlap the end of the Out of Luck window by just under a second, but it's worth taking that time to get the second Blight burst off because that's where the majority of Barrow Dyad's damage comes from. Just make sure to swap back to the hand cannon as soon as the Seekers come out, because it's not worth firing the rest of the bullets on that third mag. 2 mags and 2 bursts of Barrow Dyad in my best isolated test came to 388,499 for total damage of the Lucky Pants plus Barrow Dyad rotation of 1,270,731 in 24.12 seconds, and DPS of 52,684, and so is the clear winner in this video. When I first had the idea for this video, I wanted to compare Lucky Pants against Barrow Dyad with Knucklehead Radar, because Knucklehead increased damage against targets when they got below 30%, and it scaled up as they got weaker, so it was a great option for final stands. But when I tested it the other day, it gave basically no improvement at all. It seems that a recent change to make it less oppressive in PvP also rolled over into PvE, and now the target is only marked for a few seconds, so is essentially useless. Hopefully this gets adjusted in the future to work as it used to in PvE, and if it does, then Barrow Dyad on its own with Knucklehead would be an excellent setup for a no ammo final stand. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe as it really helps my channel. Ask any questions you have in the comments which I'll try to answer, and I'll see you on the next one.